Hello and welcome to Thrive Within. I am your host, Marc, the life coach, educator, and someone who's passionate about helping you live more fully, honestly, and aligned with who you really are. This podcast is your space for real talk and focused coaching on things like confidence, purpose, boundaries, self-doubt, and personal growth. So whether you're on a walk, taking a break, or just giving your brain a moment to breathe, I am so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Today's topic of conversation is when boundaries get misunderstood. Last episode, we talked about control. Now, sometimes we hold too tight, try to keep life from slipping through our fingers. But sometimes, the moment we start to loosen our grip and create healthy boundaries, it can feel like everything just gets misunderstood. Have you ever set a boundary that someone just took personally? Maybe they accused you of pulling away, or just being selfish, or just not caring enough. Boundaries can be one of the most misinterpreted forms of love. Because they don't always look soft at first. Sometimes they look like lines. They sound like no. But underneath them is a deep desire to stay connected in a way that feels healthy for both people. So from an early age, many of us learned that keeping the peace means keeping quiet. We learn to say yes when everything inside is just screaming no, and we apologize for needing space. We bend to avoid conflict, and little by little, our boundaries, they blur. We start absorbing other people's energy, their moods, their expectations, and until it's hard to tell where we end and they begin. When we finally draw the line, it shocks them, because we've trained them to expect access to all of us all the time. And the truth is, you've never had boundaries with someone. First one will feel like rejection to them. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means that you're retraining the relationship to be healthier. There was a time in my life when someone close to me just kept pushing past my boundaries. It wasn't blatant or mean-spirited. It was subtle at first. Extra demands on my time, small disregards for my schedule, and emotional pressure to always be available. And at first, I tried to handle it gently. I hinted, explained, I rationalized, but nothing changed. If anything, it got worse. And then one day, I realized something so simple but profound that if I kept allowing it, I was teaching them how to treat me. So I stopped hinting. I got clear. I said, this pattern doesn't work for me anymore. I care about you, but I need you to honor what's healthy for the both of us. And that conversation wasn't easy. They were confused. They were even a little hurt. But for the first time, I felt peace. Not guilt, not shame, just peace. And something interesting happened after that. Over time, they adjusted. In the relationship, it became clear. Respect grew from where resentment had been before. And that's when I understood that boundaries aren't walls. They're guardrails to keep love from veering off the road. If you've been feeling drained by someone's behavior lately, then try a simple boundary check-in. Ask yourself, is this mine to carry? If it is, own it. And if it isn't, let it go. Release it. Ask, have I clearly communicated what I need? Because unspoken boundaries are just expectations that set us up for disappointment. Ask, am I acting from resentment or respect? Healthy boundaries aren't about punishing someone. They're about protecting your peace. Boundaries work best when they are rooted in respect for yourself and for the other person. Here are a few questions to sit with this week. Where in my life do I need to say no so I can say yes to myself? It's a hard one for a lot of people. Who in my world keeps crossing a line that I haven't clearly drawn? What fear keeps me from enforcing my boundary? Is it fear of conflict, loss, or maybe disapproval? You don't have to answer these right away, but awareness is the first step. Clarity comes from practice. Most people think boundaries push people away, but real boundaries, they do the opposite. They make connection possible. Think about it. When you know where you stand with somebody, you can relax. There's less guessing, less resentment, and ultimately there's more trust. Boundaries say, I want a relationship that's real, not resentful. They say, I care about you enough to be honest with you. People who love you will adjust. Those who benefit from your lack of boundaries, they may not. But either way, you gain clarity, and that's a gift. You get to learn who your real friends are. So, here's a practical shift for today. I want you to try this. Try it today. Pick one small area of your life where you feel overextended. And maybe it's a favor you keep doing out of habit. Or maybe it's a text thread you always answer right away, or just a conversation that drains you. Now take a deep breath and set a gentle boundary around it. You don't need a speech. You can just say, can't do that right now. Or I need some space this week. Then hold that boundary without apology. The goal isn't to win a power struggle, it's to honor your peace. Thank you for joining me today, and if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're self-respecting. You don't set them to end relationships, you set them so the right ones can thrive. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to follow the show, share with a friend, or leave a kind review. It helps more people find these conversations. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can check out my books or learn more about coaching with me at guidedpathcoaching.crd.co. Take a deep breath, honor your boundaries, and remember, you deserve relationships where respect flows both ways.